Hey, everybody, it is your morning misfit call. My name is Sean Murphy. It is, what is it today? April 23rd, episode 428. Can you believe it? Hope everybody's doing well. Do me a favor, just take a big breath and just say thanks to yourself for plugging in, for doing things a little bit better today than you did yesterday. Starting your day off with a little bit of a smile. I see some D's coming in. Those D's are for people that have sent out their 3 messages this morning, at least 3 messages. If you sent out 3 messages this morning of gratitude, of joy, of hope, of encouragement. I had a buddy call me yesterday from high school. Yes, from high school. Because remember, I didn't go to college. I don't have college buddies. So we chatted for a while, and it was good. He just moved back out into the country a little bit, if you will. But so we had a good conversation. Good to catch up. We talk a couple of times a month, but it was fun to hear him. Let's see what else. If you're new to the call, if you happen to be new to the call, I'm looking. I don't know that I see any new names here, but maybe there's some new folks. If you're new, drop an N in the chat. Drop an N in the chat. There's a couple new names here, I think. Drop an N in the chat, and we want to send you some love, some gratitude, some appreciation for being here. And if you are new to this community, my name again, Sean Murphy. Tell you a little bit about me in a nutshell. I've been in the world of sales for 40 years. I've been in the study of the human mind for about 25 years. I've been in the profession of network marketing for 22 years. I'm a 3-time best-selling, #1 best-selling author. I've stood on stage in 30 countries around the world, speaking and training to thousands and tens of thousands of people. My messages and trainings have been translated into over 40 languages. All of that and 25 cents gets you 25 cents. What it means is I've probably failed in more places and in more languages than most people. I started this call December 18th, 2018, because I had to get out of my own effing way. And the effing way was fearful, frightened, fatigued, frustrated, or possibly the F we think it is. And that call, never thinking that it would turn into 428 episodes, has helped people along the way around the world. We've had folks on this call from every continent. Yeah, I think I'm just trying to think of someplace that there hasn't been somebody on this call. Out of the 177 countries, we've definitely had probably over 90 countries, different countries on this call. So all that being said, why does that happen? Because people are hungry for success. People are hungry for change. People are designing their life so that they can have more of what they want and less of what they don't. They're realizing that scripts don't work for them, because a script, if I give you a script, that's my formula for success, never to work for you. Could get you close, could get you in the neighborhood, but you've got to set up your own script for success. And that's what we do here. We have conversations, we have education, we have trainings, we have dialogues, debates, and all with the intent to see if we can't bring you more value and awaken you to new levels of success that already exist inside of you. And here's the funny part: everything you need, you already have. That's the big part. Everything you need, you already have. So that being said, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's a couple of new folks here. If you check the chat, drop them some hearts and some love. That would be awesome. Good to have you all here. Today's about deep work. Deep work. If your results are, I don't want to say frustrating, if your results are less than you think they should be, if your results are that which cause you frustration, if your connections with people bring about doubt in your capacity and capability, it's because you're operating at the surface. If you've ever been in the ocean or if you've ever went scuba diving, you could have 1, 2, 3 foot seas, right? Anything more than a couple of foot seas, it makes it difficult to get back on the boat. So you usually won't go out unless you're an avid diver. But if you go out and the seas are choppy and there's some waves and there's little white caps happening, what happens as soon as you go under? As soon as you go under the surface, everything calms down. And that's where we need to get to when we start to have conversations with people, even with ourselves. The breakthroughs that you've heard on this call are not because we stayed on the surface. It's because we did a little bit deeper work. I think it's Cal Newport's book, Deep Works. Pretty powerful book. And he talks about the history of folks who have gone into deep work and what does deep work really mean. Darren Hardy talks about deep work as 90-minute chunks. With all of the information coming into us and all of the data being thrown at us and all of the distraction that we have on a daily basis, it's rare that we get into any deep work. Meditation is deep work, but too many people think they're meditating when they do it for 15 minutes, when they do it for half an hour. I did a 20-minute meditation today. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great start to go on and find a Deepak Chopra's 21 days, 21-minute meditation on YouTube, where he and Oprah did that. It's kind of hard to find it now because his software crew has done a good job pulling off all of the free stuff. But it's worth whatever the money is. I forget how much it is that Oprah and he charged for the 21-day meditation. But 21 minutes doesn't get you there. It's an illusion again. See, it's about getting deep work. Right? This is the difference between going to a Bible study and having a conversation with a theologian. Same content, just how much deeper does it go? And because we may not have gone deep on ourselves, we may not have gone a little bit, asked some tougher questions to ourselves, we become uncomfortable the second we have a conversation, the second we dive into a conversation that's a little bit deeper than your company's comp plan. That's a little bit deeper than your company's product or services. What's the next level of understanding for you? What's the next level of understanding you would have that would be deep work in a conversation with a person? Think about your relationships that you currently have right now. There's people that you know, there's people that you know, and then there's people that you know. What's the difference in your relationships with them? What's the difference in how you interact, how the languages you use at each one of those conversations? You have a friend from, like my buddy from high school, 4 seconds into the phone, 4 seconds into the conversation, our 30+ year, our 40-year relationship automatically kicks in instantly. How old is your relationship with somebody when you're having a conversation with them? You've seen me on this call live in front of you, meet somebody for the first time and us have a conversation that's, I'll put it this way, possibly surprising to the person I'm having a conversation with. It's nothing new to them. It's just they're surprised they're actually saying this stuff to me. How is that possible? Because I choose to work at a deeper level. If we started to dig in a little bit deeper, be invited in a little bit deeper. See, there's a difference between interrogation and conversation. You can get deep into somebody's life if you want to interrogate them. But if you decide to, I usually say to folks, and I'll say to y'all here, I'm on a small talk diet. If we're going to dialogue, meaning you speak, I listen, I speak, you listen, we're going to have a conversation about what it takes to go deep with somebody, to find out the real concerns that they have. And it requires questions. And when you become good at asking questions, you'll get a lot of answers. Listen carefully. This is a tough one for people to grasp. Sometimes it's tough. When you become good at asking questions, you'll get a lot of answers. When you become great at asking questions, you'll create dialogues and relationships you never thought were possible. So some of you might be good at asking questions and you're getting a lot of answers, but those answers aren't why people do business with you. Answers are why people go to school. Answers are why people go to university. Answers are why people buy a $497 program, because that's all done online. That's a recorded copy of whatever was done live. They're only willing to spend $500 to get answers. It may move them forward. It may take them on a path. It may move them into a process to do something new. But if you're going to look for answers, it's better you look for results. And you've got to get around people who ask you questions that you've never been asked before. You've got to be the one that asks questions people have never heard before. At least they've never been in a typical conversation. That's why if you learn the 3 questions that you hear me start off almost every dialogue, sometimes I get so excited with the dialogue, I forget to ask the questions. But if you learn to ask those 3 questions, nobody's heard those questions before. People who have been in sales training at the pinnacle of sales training for 25 years, who have built companies on sales training and prospecting, have never heard those 3 simple questions. There's a shift happening right now. I think you would all agree. There's a change happening right now. And we're going from the plastic stage into the elastic stage of understanding. Plastic stage is if you were to take I don't have one here. If you were to take a paper clip, right, and you unfold one of the tongs, one of the ends, and you just do this, and you keep flicking it, and it keeps vibrating and it bounces back. You can push it, let it go, and it goes back to its original state. That's called the plastic stage of any piece of material. The elastic stage is when you push that paper clip and you push it and it moves into a new start phase and end phase. That means you moved it out of its plastic, its memory stage, into a new elastic stage. Well, that's where we're at in thought now, and that's where we're at in business now. Good morning, Bahamas. That's where we're at right now. Everything has changed. Nothing is going back to normal. There's been a reset button pushed. And it hasn't been back to start, although for some people it is. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people's jobs are not coming back. Some businesses are not coming back. But the human being still needs to be there. The human being still needs to stand in front of the mirror this morning and ask, who am I? And what can I do? This whole idea that people need education, I get that, understand that, comprehend that. But what education do they need? They need to be retrained. We hear all of that when companies let go or shut down divisions. When somebody says we're letting go 4,500 of our people. And human resources has to have a conversation with them, go, here's your health benefits, here's your this benefits, you got this for 60 days, 90 days. Oh, and here's some education that you can take so you can retrain yourself for the new opportunity, for your new opportunity, whatever that is. People have put too much authority in something they have no authority over. We've all done it. We've put authority in a figurehead. We've put authority in some trainer. We put authority in a book. We've put an authority in, and here's the challenge. They may be the authority. They may be the authority. But anytime you listen carefully, anytime you read their book, you're the one that needs to become the authority over you. If every book that you read, and if you read it cover to cover, and your results are the same, you didn't take ownership of the book. Having read 200 books or a book a week, and your life is not where you want it to be, not where the books have designed and were designed to take you to, you're missing something. You're not taking authority. You're putting authority in the information, but not taking authority of the actions necessary to perform the information. You have a conversation with a person. Do you leave them better than you found them? Think about that. Every time you have a conversation with an individual, do you leave their life better than you found it? Well, how am I supposed to know that? Then the answer is no. This is about deep work, getting deeper into the conversation, being able to have permission to have a deeper conversation. Right now, tensions are high and they're getting higher. People have just started. How many days does it take to form a habit? 21. Most people would say it takes a year for it to implement. But people right now are home. Right now, maybe they're touching on, it's a month, a little over a month now, right? 21 days have come and gone of them being in quarantine. And now the new norm is starting to set in, right? First, it was like a long vacation, a long spring break. Now, all of a sudden, they're looking at the future now, and things have changed dramatically. Schools aren't coming back, right, for the rest of the year. Graduations, seniors are dealing with that. If you're a parent of a senior in high school, my heart goes out to you, because there's this whole new dilemma of dialogue in the home, a whole new feeling of moms have, like, my kid's not going to be able to attend a graduation. It's horrible. It's terrible. There's just this rite of passage of attending a graduation isn't going to happen. So it's changed the whole dialogue for the entire people associated with that student. I say all of that to say this. Things are changed. Things have changed, and they will continue to change. Where are you at in this change? See, if you're trying to keep up with the change, good luck. Can you be the source that's under the change, that if you become great at a handful of things, it matters not what happens on the outside? Right now, people need people to build people, not build a business, to build people. Does your community that you bring people into, does it build people? Oh, and by the way, if they learn how to build themselves, is there a residual income that comes along with it? People know they need change. People know they need income. Do you know how to blend the two? Do you know how to have a conversation such that people realize, hanging out with you, they can be rebuilt. I'm going to date myself. Let's see who's old enough to remember this. We have the power to rebuild you. Right? Steve Austin, the $6 million man. There's not a better time than right now to be in the profession we're in of helping people. Right now it's fallen off a log simple to help people. Sending them a message of gratitude, a message of joy. I saw about 5 Ds that went up. Did you send out your 3 messages today of gratitude, of joy, of hope? Right now is the easiest time in the history of history to be able to reach out and connect with people. I know it is for me because my message hasn't changed. My message has been catapulted to the top of people's inbox because it's a message of hope. It's a message of joy. It's a message of love. It's not a message of, hey, listen, you stuck? Do you need income? Do you need this? So again, my question to you is what are you doing at a deep work level on yourself? It's what we do here every morning. We go into deep work. We have conversations that you're privy to listen into to help people do more, be more, have more. So a couple of questions you can ask people that will allow you to get into some deep work. When you have a conversation with people, I don't need to know your whole story, but I can ask you the question, hey, do me a favor. Think about where you're at right now. Think about what's changed in your life. Think about what's good. Think about what's not so good right now. And then ask yourself, what's your way out? How do you get out of where you're at? How do you change the story that you currently have, you currently own? How is that going to change in the next 7 days? Because right now, 7 days is a heck of a long time for people who are struggling. Chances are they can't even see that far in advance. If they're hurting right now, and many people who, they'll put on a good facade that they're not. They'll put on the smiley face. They'll say all the right things. They'll look like they're ready to join you in business, but they never quite seem to pull the trigger because fear has them paralyzed. So the question is, I'll ask you, there's 80 of you on this call right now. I'm not going to ask you to put a Y in the chat, because if I were to ask you how many of you would like to be doing better in your business, every one of you would type a Y in the chat. The question is that can you double and triple your business in the next week? The answer to that is yes. If you don't believe that's possible, there's a chance you might be working at a shallow level with your audience. See, there's few people on this planet that have the opportunity that we have the opportunity of. And what do I mean by that is, if I work extraordinarily deep with one person who has the ability, who has a formula in place that allows them to go out and start to bring other people that want to be worked on at a deeper level, want to be worked with at a deeper level, all of a sudden that 1 turns into 2, that 2 turns into 4, that 4 turns into 8. It's an exponential. It's a compounding effect. Can your trainings, can your teachings go deep enough with the person you're working with that it can be translated in a simple conversation to the next level? That's duplication, not learning your comp plan or learning your script, because the comp plan is going to work no matter what. You don't need to learn it. The comp plan is going to work. I'm not sure why anybody learns their compensation plan. That'd be like me trying to learn electricity before I turn the switch on, or me try to figure out nuclear fusion in the sun before I go plant a garden. It works. I got it. Great. Seriously, think about, why do you need to understand the comp plan? And why do I need to know there's 84 ways to get paid? There's only one way to get paid. And I get paid doing that one thing. I get paid two different results. I get paid to find customers, and I get paid to build leaders. Well, I need to know your comp plan. That's somebody who doesn't understand building people. Listen, if comp plans were important, everybody would be a CEO. Think about it. If comp plans were important, everybody would be a CEO. There'd be no employees. So you can't tell me a comp plan is important. But we make it an important thing. Why? Because it's something we understand. You know why we talk about a comp plan? Because it's something we don't have to really dive into. It's something that we can repeat. It's a script. Why do we know the ingredients of our products? Because it's a script. It gives us some control. Nobody cares what the ingredients are. Yeah, but my doctor says, then I would ask your doctor, take these to your doctor, see if they're good. I have no idea what they're going to, what the ingredients are. Take it to your doctor and find out. The question is the ingredients you're currently using in your recipe for success, are those working? It doesn't matter if whether you're Tony Robbins or you're brand new to the profession of network marketing, both of you do the same thing. You build people. Why does he get paid $1 million for a consultation? Because as Jim Rohn said, money is like a ladder, and you want to go higher on the ladder of money, provide more value. So the question then becomes, how much value are you bringing to people? What is the value? People's values have shifted. They haven't changed, they've shifted. I have conversations with people who are in the corporate world, and they're like, man, how are you doing? I go, I am more busy now than I've ever been. I used to work about 4 hours a day. Now I'm working like 12 hours a day. It's crazy. What do you mean you're working more? Yeah, because now more of my teams are home. Now people are using technology. When Zoom goes from 10 million users to 200 million users, from December, 10 million users, to March, 200 million users, there's a shift that ain't going away. And some of those shifts are grandma seeing the grandbabies. Some of those shifts are friends having birthday parties, virtual birthday parties. We have gone online. There's no doubt. The question then becomes, is how do you take the three-dimensional world, transmit it through a two-dimensional screen, so that when it comes out their speakers on the other side, when your video shows up on their screen, how do you make them feel like they're in a 3D world with you? We are absolutely, those of you that figure out how to use technology in such a way that you connect people with a three-dimensional dream, you can write your ticket for as big as you want. How many commas would you like in your check? My mentor used to say to me all the time, get over yourself and get on with life. This ain't about you. And if you're pointing a finger out there like this, Larry Thompson says, if you're pointing the finger like this, don't forget how many fingers are pointing back at you. If you keep seeing the problem there and the problem there, and that's a problem, and over there's a problem, you better check the mirror, because the problem's in you. It's time to go a little bit deeper. It's time to start asking the tougher questions. Have you recorded your conversations? Have you recorded the last 4 of your conversations? How many recordings do you have in Zoom? I'd be curious. How many recordings do you have in Zoom for this year? Recordings of your 3-ways, the events that you put on. And then the next tough question is, how many times have you looked at them? These morning calls are all recorded, but if I take those away, which are daily, right? So if I take 90 of them away from the beginning of the year, or however many days that is, January, February, March, April. So 3 times, take away 100 of them. Take away 100 calls out of my recordings. Since January, there's 509 total. So what does that leave at? 380? 380 meetings I've had since January. How many meetings have you had? How many of those were an hour, 2-hour-long meetings? How much time do you spend with a prospect? Here's a question for you. Somebody help me out. You're meeting a prospect for the first time, and maybe it's a 3-way. How much time do you spend with a prospect? Maybe we might see a comparison difference here. Somebody type in the chat. How much time do you spend with a prospect? It's a 3-way. It's your first meeting. How much time do you normally have scheduled for that? Cool. At least an hour. So here's the question then. Well, we need to get you a prospect then. I'm not sure how to say your first name. Andrudith Kana. Sorry, that was just put through the grinder. So here's, I was on with 2 prospects, right? It was them. Well, here's another neat thing. How many of you have ever had a prospect bring a prospect? Some of you have probably had that happen. Have a prospect, bring a prospect with them, already building their team. So yesterday we had that, and it was 2 hours on the call. 2 hours. And in that 2-hour conversation, out of the 2 hours, out of the 120 minutes, I probably spoke 4. The next question you need to ask is, when you do your conversations, who's doing more of the talking? And are you talking business? Are you talking deep work that creates a deeper connection? How many pauses are in your conversation? How many moments of silence to let the conversation sink in? Do you ever have conversations with prospects that they get teared up about? What do you do with that? So here's the thing. If you could unmute and just tell me how to say your name, because saying your name is...
It's Anirudh.
Say it one more time.
Anirudh.
Anridu?
Anirudh.
Anderu. Anderu.
No. You can call me by my last name, Khanna.
Kind of. No, I would one more time. Help me on your first name.
It's Anirudh.
Say it slowly so I can hear it.
Anirudh.
Aniru. So, here's the best way to close a conversation. Don't close it, open it. I know in sales we talk about closing. What's your close ratio? What's your conversion ratio? But we're in the business of humanity. We're in the business of building people. The idea of closing means to shut off. It's just, I know it's semantics, but the real question is how do you open them to the next step, the next phase? So the best way to close it, the best way to convert the conversation is start with the end in mind. So when I sit down with somebody, if I sit down with you, I would say, we're going to spend some time together, whether it be 15 minutes or 50 minutes, whatever's necessary. My question to you is, what do you want out of this? How are you going to know what would have to happen for you to say at the end of this conversation, you know what, this was worth it. This was absolutely worth my time. And then if you tell me, guess what's the only thing I have to do? Guess what my new target is to get you to that point? See, there's a variety of sales styles, but a professional salesperson, we're all in sales. A professional salesperson is a person that will provide you exactly what you need, regardless of whether I sell it or not. So rather than me try to guess what I need, you guess what you want from this conversation, I'm just going to flat out ask you. I say it everywhere. Listen, before we get started, we're going to spend some time. What would be a good thing for you to get out of this conversation? But what do you mean? Well, why are we here? So you got to be pretty sure in your shoes to ask a question like that. Why are we here? I think I know why I'm here. I'm curious why you decided to jump on the Zoom, why you decided to show up at the meeting. Well, you're going to tell me about your business. Well, yeah, but why do you want to listen to it? What would be the best thing that could happen if I spend some time talking about something you've not heard about before, my business, my business model and what we do? What's going to make you say at the end of it going, you know what, that sure as heck was worth my time? See, we all start with an understanding. We all start with a comprehension that they're there to hear about our business. You don't know what just happened to them. They could have just got off a phone call with their bride and just got yelled at. They could have, God forbid, their kid could have just been in a car accident. Maybe somebody ran over their dog. I don't know. Maybe they just got fired. Maybe they were just asked maybe they were just engaged this past week and they're on cloud 9. Maybe they just emptied out their 401k and they've got a whole bunch of money, but now they're like nervous as a cat because they know they got the money, they got their bills taken care of, but now they got to figure out, how do I find something to invest in to take care of my family? You got a lot of you on this call are taught, well, once you get them there, you start the presentation and you show them the plan. Now, this is me. I'm odd and I'm not normal, so you probably don't want to follow my steps. But I've never showed a compensation plan. Somebody asks me, what's your compensation plan? I talk to people. I send them to a link. They get started. Well, how do you make 7 figures? How do you make 6 figures? I teach teams of people to invite people, tell them a story, send them to a link, and let them experience the product. Well, what level are you at? A good one. Is my success going to determine your dedication, your enthusiasm, your excitement? Can you do this process to get them to get a $29 sample? Can you do that? Yes, then you can go to the top. Do you think you could teach that? Yes, then you can go to the top. How many people do you want to teach that to? A lot. Then I would only get good at teaching that. Yeah, but what about the what are the ranks? I don't know. I've heard of them. I could tell you what they are, but I don't know what the qualifications are, because I know no matter what rank you're at, you still got to have the person today that tells the story, moves somebody into a result, and duplicate that. Tell me your highest level. Tell me the product that your company uses. Tell me that the person who makes the most money in your company, they have a different product, right? No, they don't. They get paid differently, though. Once they reach a certain rank, yeah, there may be a bonus pool that they get added to, but there's only 100 pennies in any of your comp plans. The dollar you take in is the same dollar I take in. Everybody's got 100 pennies in that dollar. Every company has 100 pennies to play with. On average, they'll pay out anywhere from 48 to 53 of those pennies. How they pay it out and how they 78 ways to Sunday, it still requires somebody today deciding to say yes. How many people can you teach to say yes? And how many people will say yes after your conversations? Getting a little bit deeper with the individuals that you're about to have a conversation with is critical. Being comfortable working at a deeper level, that's up to you. If you're talking more, then you're doing the training. It's no wonder your check reflects that of a teacher. If you're training, you're getting paid to train. Trainers make salary. They don't make commission. Training the trainers, you get a salary position. Teaching how to train, you get a salary position. Moving people, you create wealth. Teaching people how to move people, you generate riches beyond your wildest dreams. What are you doing? Why do you think actors get paid so much? Why do you think actors can demand such high, if they're good, can demand such high incomes? Why do you think athletes can command such high incomes? Because they move people into the gates that make other people wealthy. That's the only reason. It's because they get an audience. We love to be able to see the experience of a once in a lifetime experience of being able to see athletes perform at the highest level. Why do you think there's Broadway and off Broadway? Same plays, different actors, different audiences. Theater can only command so much money per seat because it's live. Movies can charge only a little bit per seat, but they can play it in thousands of locations on a daily basis. So can you set up to be the movie theater that allows your story, your team, your distributors, your business partners to be telling the story on stage, the movie on screen, in thousands of locations? And are you okay with getting handfuls of dollars from individuals from around the world. Teach people how to teach people. Become the trainer of the movie theaters. How do you move people into an action that allows them to be able to participate with you in such a way that there is duplication, but there's culturalization? I do business in, I don't know, 8 countries now, 9 countries. I'm sure we've got other stuff that's under the covers right now in other countries that's being built right now. But the way we do things in Honduras is a little bit different than the way we do things in Costa Rica, which is a little bit different way than we do things in Panama, which is a little different way than we do things in Colombia, which is a little different way than we do things in Slovenia or Ireland or Germany. Same product. Can your story get culturalized? Are you okay with people taking ownership of your story? Letting them do it their best way. Does that make sense, y'all? Questions, comments, thoughts? Because I have a hard stop at in about 30 minutes. Go ahead, Kana.
How do you how the culture affect these things? Like how the culture of different countries affect the business? Like how we talk to people?
Well, so not only does the cultural of the country affect, but who that country deals with. Like when I build in Europe, and an example would be Slovenians and Italians. Italians think Slovenians are one step below animals for the most part, just relationship wise. So when a Slovenian tries to prospect to an Italian, there's certain ways the language has to go. When an American, right, when somebody from the US wants to go down into Latin America, they can be received with open arms. But the challenge is that nobody can do it the way it's done in America. Latin cultures do things completely different. They're a retail market. So your language has to change based upon the culture you're about to have a conversation with. Yeah, it's starting with the end in mind. In Latin America, they want to make, if they could make $20 a day, that's huge. So you have a conversation to show them how to make $20 a day. In Ireland, it's got to be $100 a day because most of them come out of the IT world and they get paid a whole bunch of money in the IT world. So you've got to come up with a different way to show them the formula to create a higher level of income. Right? In Slovenia, it's about relationships. It's about relationships everywhere, but it's a little bit deeper there than it is in most European countries. In the UK, there's nothing you can do right in the UK world from an American standpoint, right? You've got to find somebody there that becomes your poster child. It's just, those are things that's what my daddy would say is experience you can't buy, but you paid for. That's what I learned doing business in 30 plus countries. Every place is just a little bit different. That's why it makes it easier for me when I learn to ask this question: what do you want out of this conversation? What would be the best thing that could happen in the next 30 minutes as we have our dialogue? And that's how I learned culturally, because I would hear the same thing, whether I was in the UK, whether I was in Spain or Portugal or Slovenia or Macedonia or any of those places. I'd hear, okay, all of them want the same thing, but that's not the same thing as their neighboring country. And so that's how I picked up on that. Everybody wants something different. So I said, rather than me try to figure it out and remember what 30 countries want, I'll just ask them. Does that help with that question?
Yeah. Thank you.
And so what happens is it makes it real simple on us. Listen, I'm a farm boy from Ohio. I have a 0.9 grade point average. I barely made it through high school. But what I did understand, what I have become good at, is I've been in the study of the human brain for 30 years. Why? Because I got frustrated in sales not knowing why something would work here and something would work there and it wouldn't work over here and it would blow up in my face over here and I was doing the same thing. Well, then I realized I was doing the same thing and that's why it would blow up, because I was talking to individuals. And once I realized I was talking to individuals, everybody has their own human experience. And I was trying to sell them on my human experience as opposed to letting them buy into their own human experience. Everybody has all of the talent and skill they'll ever need inside of them. I've gotten very good over the last 30 years of being able to find that talent and skill that they would love to be able to grow, and allow them to plant it in our conversation, and then I water it for the rest of our relationship. And their talents and skills grow them to levels they never thought possible. But nobody can reach a level that's not already inside of them. No matter what business you're in, whatever level you want to get to, your skills and talents are already inside of you. They can't be outside of you. Reading a book doesn't give you the talents and skills. It allows you to rewire yourself to do more activities. Attending an event doesn't give you the skill set to go become a better salesperson, to go become a better trainer or speaker. It's education that you decide to take in to transition your actions to produce different, higher and better results. But every talent and skill you have is already inside of you. It's already inside of you. The skill and talent, the mindset to make $1 million is inside of you. The reason that it hasn't showed, there's thousands of books to teach you how to make $1 million a year. That's easy. That's easy to find a book to teach you how to make $1 million. Think and Grow Rich, Science of Getting Rich, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. All of these books can teach you how to make millions of dollars. But words do not teach. Conversations do not teach. I'm not teaching any one of you here right now. It's impossible for me to teach you. I can only trigger an emotion inside of you that's strong enough for you to go, I'm going to do that. And when you just say, I'm going to do that, that changes your wiring, that changes your results. And when you change your results, you're the only one responsible for changing your results. So rather than try to be the one to prod them, push them, and pull them into a place they don't want to go, I just learned a long time ago, hey, where do you want to go? I want to go here. If you got there, would that be good? Yep. Would you be happy that we could get you there? Yep. Then let's go there. I'm the GPS in your car. You tell me the destination you want. I'll give you the best route. You get off track, I'll get you back on track. I don't care where it is you want to get to. Tell me where you want to go. I'll get you there. Guaranteed. Well, how do you know that? Because I only know all I need to know is how to get you to the next step. And when you do it right or you screw it up, there's a rerouting. Up ahead, please do a U-turn. I'm just good at that. All I need to do is get you to take the next step. And when you take the next step, we'll both see the next horizon. I can get you to the next horizon. I've just done this with thousands of people in 30 plus languages. All we need to do is get to the next step. We're trying to get people from California to New York, and we didn't worry about every state in between. They still got to take a step to go from California to New York. Now, are they going to run? They're going to get on a plane. They're going to walk. They're going to drive. Whatever method they choose to take, I'll guide them through the process. But I can't give you any directions unless you're moving. So are your people moving? Are they asking questions? Are they doing the right things? Are they doing the IPAs, income producing activities that you guide them to do? And then are you GPSing them? A little bit this way, a little bit that way. How'd that work out for you? It really didn't work good. Well, then I wouldn't do that again. But that's based on culture. And some people are wildly ecstatic to move fast. Europeans will run at a breakneck pace. There may be some bodies along the way that they've run over. they, that they've thrown out of the car, but they'll get there. Latinos are a little bit different. It's more about culture, relationship. Asians, the Asian community, get out of the way. That's like swarms. You could have one and then 1,000 in under 24 hours. They understand networking. Shammy, I see you got your hand up, my dear.
Hello.
Hello.
I was gonna ask something, but you literally just answered it.
Okay.
Basically, I was gonna ask, um, you started the call with saying that it was going to be about deep work,
Yep.
and I just kind of wanted to be a little specific about that. If business wise, if that really just meant like self-evaluation and kind of some tips on besides journaling on how to do deep work. I don't know if I know we've talked about leverage and stuff, but right now, what you spoke right now to me was kind of the answer to that question.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you ask smart questions that make me look good.
Awesome.
Love you, my dear.
Love you too. Thank you.
You bet. Alex in Serbia, how can I be of service to you, sir?
Sean, how's it going this morning?
Outstanding, brother.
Thank you. Glad to hear that. Listen, I was just wondering, I've been thinking about some things lately. I think it involves this deep work, right? And I just want to see your stand on it, basically. So, in the last couple of days, since I joined these calls, which are, by the way, brilliant, and you are a brilliant man, and I just need to take a bow to you.
Thank you.
It's just marvelous. So the things that I was asking myself is, what if? Simple two-word question.
Yep.
What if?
Yep.
And basically, you in 3 sentences explain me why do I do this business and how should I do it. And when I told you, well, I don't know how to make this transition, you just told me, start. Start, brother, and that's it. Start. Right?
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about what if? What if I fail? Well, no. What if I win? What if I in the next?
So let me say this. Paulo Coelho said in his book Manuscript Found in a Craw, the main character, the cop, says nobody ever fails. Failure ends the instant you enter back into an interesting battle.
Yeah.
So this idea of we fail or win, no. The only time you fail is when you quit. So it's either quit or do. So there is no failure. So again, it's semantics, but I hear the programming that exists in everybody that I have a conversation with. Well, I'm either going to win or I'm going to fail. No, you're just what Edison say. I learned 9,999 ways to not make a light bulb. That's all. I just learned that didn't work. That's new experience. The reason I'm so good at what I've done is I've had more interesting opportunities to have a negative result that I'm going to say, don't do that. I've just learned more of don't do that. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Yeah, never mind. So I was just asking myself, like, what if? What if maybe this is just a temporary defeat, like, right?
Yep.
There's no
Yep.
such thing as failure. You cannot fail. You can only temporarily lose a battle, right?
Yep. Yep.
But in the end, you're gonna win the war, correct?
Yep.
And I was just basically having one question, which is, yeah, we can go to deep waters. We can talk deep stuff with prospects, and the best way to close a deal is to open it, right?
Yep.
But how do we get them into that mindset to start off the bat? So basically, the first question is going to open the conversation, right?
So Alex, listen, we're going to have a conversation here for a little bit. Is it okay if we don't have a small talk? If it can, I'm on a small talk diet. Is it okay if we don't talk about the weather or the economy?
I hate small talk. Yeah.
So that would be that's my conversation though. I would have with a prospect.
Yeah.
Is it okay if we talk a little bit deeper than maybe you've done in the past? And maybe it'll be a comfortable place for you. Maybe you've been looking to have these deeper conversations, but right now I know in the limited time that we have available to us, I really want to be of the best service to you. And the best way for us to do that is to dive into the deep areas of where resistance happens and where success has been hiding, to see if we can't unlock the resistance and find the success that's been hiding there. That'd be okay if we have a deep conversation. And that's how I start my 3 ways. That's how I start when somebody shows up for an appointment.
Yeah.
Because I know that I don't have to do a dang thing. I really don't. I don't have to be the wizard. All of you are trying to be the wizard. I'm not good at being the wizard. I'm good at asking freaking ridiculously simple questions. But here's the difference. I ask them in such a high state of love. You guys will answer them in an open forum that you've never thought you'd be revealing yourself at your deepest levels in an open forum. And I don't do it for a magic act. I do it for you, because the only people that are on a call right now are you and me.
Yeah. Yesterday was a question. I wrote it down actually in my little notebook. Can you listen with love?
Mm-hmm.
That's a powerful one, Sean. That's a great one.
See, I hear it here, but it gets translated here.
Yeah.
I don't translate it up here. I'm not running, because if I had to listen to y'all's stories, I could outdo every one of your stories with pain in my life.
Yeah.
Because I've lived longer. So I have to keep it out of here for me to leave it right here, so I can come up with the next question that somebody goes, oh, as opposed to, no, I'm done talking to you.
Yeah. So it's a genuine, not agenda, right?
Bingo.
Yeah. Yeah. What can I say? You are brilliant as always. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So the question that Alex asks is, can you listen with love? Can you listen in love? Can you listen with, can everything that they're about to say, can it come through this filter called love through your eyes? Can you look at them in love, right? You've looked at somebody very special to you in love, and your eyes different. Everything is different about it. You can listen with love to your baby when it's breathing, or your baby when it's giggling, or your niece or nephew, right? Or your significant other. Thanks for your conversation, Alex. Let's see Dakaya. Dakaya in the house. Hello.
I feel like somebody had their hand up before me.
Well, Alex did, but we just talked to him, and maybe that they're.
Oh, Leo. I think Leo had his up.
Well, it's not according to the way it's showing on my screen, because it.
Oh, that's so weird. Okay. Well, anywho, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So I don't really have a question more so, but I just wanted to share because I was like, it's kind of on the topic. Not really, but close enough. But okay,
wow, let me get off that merry-go-round. Go ahead.
So my grandma and I were walking, and we saw this like pretty little like mango bird, or that's what I like to call it, but it's called a strelitzia flower, and it's really pretty, and I didn't notice it before, and I didn't because it hadn't, I guess, morphed into its final form. Like, I guess it like molds together and then it forms this like cute little bird like looking thing. And then so I was just looking it up, and it like originated in like South Africa, and they like called it like the crane flower. And I thought it was funny because the guy's name was Sir Joseph Banks, who named it.
Okay.
And it was dedicated to Queen Sophia Charlotte. And I don't know, it was just great, like to see that. I don't know. It was just it's just amazing. Well, then again, like my morning started off very interesting. So I don't know. So that's that.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that joy that you just brought. Your energy is infectious. Thank you for
Thank
being the
you.
cure and not the cause.
Yeah, so you guys should really look it up. I don't know. It's a great bird. It's a great little mango flower. Or okay, I don't really know what to call it. But anyways, that's what it is.
Well, when you have an idea of what to type in the chat, go ahead and type in the chat what we should be looking for. That would be awesome. Good
Okay.
morning, Leo.
Good morning. How are you, Misfits? Hello, Sean. How's it
Hello,
going?
my brother.
I'm wonderful. I'm great. I woke up and my first thought is I'm grateful to be alive. So everything is great.
Outstanding.
Yeah. How are you doing, Sean?
You know, let's see. It's been an hour, so it's time to do a check-in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Things are better than the last hour.
Good. Very, very good. Um, I wanna say thank you, Sean. That's the first way I want to start. I want to say thank you. Share my gratitude, not only to you, but to everybody on this call. The past few months, I've learned so much about not just myself, but all of you, to the point where I feel like we're family. Like I have a whole new set of siblings and cousins and uncles and nieces and aunts, and it's just amazing to know that I can share myself with you all and feel that you are listening to me with that filter of love. So that's what I always get from these calls. And I love you all. And yes, so I've recently ranked in my business. And thank you. Took some time, right? The whole conversations we've had, Sean, and the understanding that I can do it, right? Like that's just really what it is the belief that I can do it. And now that I'm doing it, and also just listening more, really like allowing people to be themselves. For me, I think that is just so. It's a skill or even a genuine way of being that is not truly taught in our industry. And I can see the difference in my prospects. The one thing that I'm experiencing right now, Sean, and maybe you can give me some coaching, is that um, I'm really great at inviting. Really great at inviting. I get people to see the presentation. I'm great at getting people on a three-way call. What I'm not so great at right now is sometimes when people are like, I have to do my research, or I did my research. I've read all this material and I saw videos online, and I decided not to get started because I feel that I could learn it on my own, because our business is trading, so people feel that they can learn on their own. And also the aspect of recruiting. Okay, I always feel like it always gets to that, right? Like everyone feels like they can learn on their own, but I think the real brunt of it is the recruiting aspect. How do I go about making people, not making people, right? But how do I go about getting people to understand that it's student first, business builder later, right? Without them feeling skeptical or feeling like they can't do it.
So I would bring those two together as one. And I would encourage you to let them know that I would ask you to be aware of that every time you have a conversation with them, that's the business model you're building. That's creating the duplication. So you've created perfect duplication in your business with a result you don't want, but you've created duplication. Right? People can probably invite, people can probably do this, but when they get to the business building side, they seem to fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
Right? So then the question is that what's the business building activity that causes them to disengage? What's the business building idea that causes them to disengage?
Business building, just the black and white of recruiting friends, right?
Okay.
The whole aspect of recruiting and building a team, that whole thing.
So that's a part. And then the fact that they think that they can learn the trading on their own.
That too, yes.
Okay. So then what's the secret sauce?
I feel that our business is an educational platform that cuts the learning curve in half.
Okay. So why can't they believe that?
Yeah, I guess that's my question. Why can't they
So,
believe that?
so nothing is overpriced, it's undervalued. So they're associating their success with price, and they're associating their success for the fee that your back office charges or your company charges for your platform is more than they're willing to spend for the results they think they're going to get.
Mm.
If you give me $10 and I give you 100, how many times an hour would you like to do that?
Not 0 times.
Well, no, if you give me 10 and I give you back 100,
Oh, sorry. Yes.
how many times would you like to do that?
As many times as possible, all day.
Why are people not joining you? Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Right. Right.
I mean, otherwise they're thinking it's $2.99 to go to lunch with you. I love you. We might do that once, but I ain't doing that every month.
Mm.
Taking you to lunch for the fee of my back office. So they haven't realized the ability to plug into the system to get the return, right? Their ROI, their return on investment is I'll do it for free because I expect free results. That's not what they're saying, but that's what they're saying. So now the question has to become, listen, let me ask you, if you were to get into learning how to leverage the global economic exchange of currency, how much would you like out of the global economic exchange of currency? How much money would you like for that to show up in your bank account?
$5,000 a month.
Great. Where could you go find a class? If you could find a class that would teach you how to do that, what do you think they charge for that class? They're going to teach you how to get $5,000 a month. What do you think they charge?
Probably just about the same.
Yeah, because you can get better at it and you can turn it into $6,000 a month, couldn't you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if they're going to charge $5,000 a month, let's just say they charged half. You could spend $2,500 a month in an educational platform that'll help you produce $5,000 a month. Would you be okay with that?
No.
I'm sorry. You're going to spend $2,500 and you're going to get 5,000 back. You wouldn't want to do that? You're going to pay $2,500 and at the end of the month, there's going to be $5,000 in your bank account. You just doubled your money every month. You wouldn't want to do that?
You know what? I would do that.
Okay. So what's the fear of getting started?
For me, it's I get that, I can invest and I can trade. I just feel that recruiting is the only way that I can make money. Or feel that,
You make money now? Not you. You're playing the prospect.
Yeah,
So my
yeah.
question is do you have an income now?
I mean, I do. I'm a nurse.
Okay.
I'm a nurse right now. So
Have you ever recruited anybody into the nursing field?
recruited? No, I don't think I have.
Have you ever invited anybody to join you in the nursing field?
No.
No.
I don't think I have.
So that's probably why you think if you could invite people into the nursing field and they would pay you $100,000 a year for every person you brought in, would you be okay with inviting people into the nursing field?
Heck yeah, I would invite as many people as possible
Why would you do that?
because I'm getting paid $100,000 a year.
Well, but what if it was inviting them in to dig ditches and do something they didn't want? Would you would you still be okay with receiving $100,000 of bringing people into something of pain and misery?
No.
No, then we don't do that either.
Mm.
Why do you think it's painful here? Why do you think we're bringing people pain here?
Mm. I feel that, I would have to constantly recruit people and, I'm focused
Do you
on
want to
nursing.
constantly recruit people?
No, I don't.
then I wouldn't do that. Is it okay if you just learn how to trade and create a six-figure income on your own, just learning through trading?
Yes.
And then what if you got an example that was good enough for you that you felt comfortable saying, listen, if I could do it, you could do it. Would it be okay with inviting people after you've created your success, if you wanted to? If you went to the ocean, walking along the shore, and you came across an X, what do you think's under that X? If we believe every pirate book we ever read or were read to as a child, under the X is what?
It marks the spot as the treasure.
Yep. And you dug down into that treasure and you found there was more treasure than you could carry. Who would be the first person you would call? Would you call a stranger to come find that treasure with you, or would you call a family member?
I'll call a family member. I don't want to share my treasure with strangers.
Cool. So once you create success in this, who'd be the first person you would talk to about the treasure that you just found here inside of our business?
My brother.
Cool. So let's get you started. Would it be okay for you to get started to have success without him right now?
I feel like he knows a lot more about investing and trading than I do.
So would it be okay then if we had a conversation with him and the two of you could get started together, if it makes sense? Of course, remember, you guys are the ones always in charge. Would you feel better if you had a buddy like diving, you had a scuba buddy going with you on this journey?
Yeah, it would make sense.
Cool. Do you have enough influence with him for us to sit down and have a coffee and have a conversation about it?
Yeah, he's my younger brother. He does what I tell him to do.
Okay. So when do you think we might be able to sit down and have that conversation to see if we can encourage you and inspire him to create the success between now and the end of the year that you've not had in the last 24 months?
We can do that by today.
Okay. Now, you know your brother better than I do, I hope. So when you have a conversation with your brother, what are going to be the 3 key points that he's going to need to hear so that we can make sure we can ensure at least we've got him on the right path so that we can ensure your journey going forward and that together the two of you can work together? What are 3 things that he's going to be looking for?
He's going to be looking for education, to how he can trade, and 3, how he can, make money.
Based upon what you see that I've shared with you, and I may have done a terrible job sharing those 3 points with you, but do you see where those 3 points may be a solution for him here? Do you see how those might answer his questions? Because if not, then I need to explain them to you so that you don't feel uncomfortable asking your brother. That would be smart, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Set me up to not get negatively influenced.
Right.
Oh man, Sean, I need this recording.
Y'all realize, listen, I know Rhonda gets on here and she'll throw a rant in the works every now and then about what kind of training y'all get. You realize that was $1 million training right there.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need the recording.
Forget everything and only remember what you last heard in the last 10 minutes and you're done.
Oh man.
That's all it is.
Why would I give all of this away? Why are 88 of you still here after an hour and a half? Oh my God, oh no, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Yeah, okay, we're good. Maybe we're good. No, but that's probably where my phone's blowing up. Anyways, they'll get through that meeting. Why do I give this away? Because I'm really not giving it away. All I'm doing is repeating what I know. You get to listen in on the conversations. If you grasp this and begin to use it, you can change the world. This is, listen, you get an hour of me a day. My students get as much time of me as they need. That's why they pay 10 grand a month. Some of my students are on this call because they get to hear the questions you ask. So I say that to say, well, why would you do this? Listen, there's days that I want to quit. And like, I don't know why it's so difficult. It just means I got to get better.
Yep.
And then a Leo shows up, asks a great question. And I go, okay, today was worth it. I'll show up again tomorrow. It's like hitting a birdie on the 18th hole.
On the
Yep.
18th hole. Yep. As the great Jim Rohn has always said, don't wish it was easier.
Wish you
it
were better. Does that help, Leo?
My God, Sean, it helps unbelievable. I wanted to take notes, but I wanted to be present at the same time. And I'm like, my God, it's not, again, it's not a script. I'm not looking for the script because I've been there, done that many times over, but it's just not genuine. And I feel like, you know, with the person that's actually a real experience I'm going through right now in this moment with the prospect. And this is the third prospect in the past couple of days that said almost the same thing. Okay. So I'm like, okay, what is it in my spirit? What is it in my internal world?
So here's the tough question. If you were a student of mine, I'd ask you these questions, but since you're not, I can't. But if you were, I'd ask you these questions. Did you ask him the 3 questions when you sat down? Permission to help, make you feel uncomfortable, take you out of the uncomfortable feeling.
Did I ask her? No, I did not.
That's why you got a shitty response.
The shitty response, granted, I got was over text. I just woke up to the text. Like it was last
night. And the text was what?
I'll read it to you. I'll read you exactly.
First of all, y'all are trying to do a three-dimensional business in a 2-dimensional world. Good luck. You're better at it than I am.
Tell them, Sean. Oh my God, please tell them. Jesus.
It's incredible. I mean, I spend time. This is like this is a close friend of mine. So I spend time speaking with her on the phone. Okay. I was sleeping.
Read the text. I love you. Read the text.
Okay. Sorry about last night. I passed out after that text. I did a little bit more reading and watched some videos and ultimately have decided not to get into IML now. I honestly love that you're learning and really getting into it. However, I don't have the money to invest in $200 plus monthly to be in it. My priority right now is paying for nursing school next year, and I'm even pretty good at saving up myself. I do, however, still want to learn about Forex and trading and have made it a goal of mine to do so. If we really get down to it, IM is a marketing platform that helps people learn the tools they need for trading. However, the reason most people are successful from IM is from the recruiting networking side as a modern day pyramid scheme. I'm not faulting people for wanting to hustle and grow levels through IM, but recruiting is not something I want to do if I get into IM. I just want to learn and can be done with the power of the internet, books, and people with actual experience being successful with trading. I'm not downing anyone's hustle in recruiting, perhaps being somewhat successful through Forex. However, if you have 20 plus people recruited and sign up under you, you will make money. And that has nothing to do with the trading aspect. I really want to partake in the growth of financial literacy and take advantage of an opportunity like this, but I'd love to do it on my own terms. Awesome.
Does she have any student debt?
I'm pretty sure because that's one.
That's a scam. That's a pyramid.
Yeah.
How long do you have to be? How long do you have to go into nursing school before you can create an income?
I'm gonna take a stab at the dark. Maybe 5 to 6 years, 4 to 6 years.
Let's just say it's 4 years. How long do you have to go in? How long do you have to go into trading before you can learn how to make money, or before you can receive a check?
Some people do it in a week. Some people do it in a month.
Right. So when you finally get your feet underneath you and realize that your conversations are starting off that let this happen.
Yeah. Reverse. This is why I love you, Sean, because I know you're going to have me reverse engineer everything.
So listen, she's in nursing school. What if the conversation started off, I've partnered with a company that'll pay for your nursing school?
Yeah. Tell me how.
Would you like to partner with a company that pays for your nursing school?
Yeah.
What kind of job do you have right now that you're using to try to pay off some of your debt?
I work in a hospital. What's a proper term for it? She's not a registered nurse, but she's like a nurse assistant.
Right.
I don't know what the proper
term is. My mother was that, and so they used to call them candy stripers. That was a long time ago.
Wow.
So all that to say, listen, so you're working now, and would they reward you if you brought more people in to work in positions like you do? I don't think they do that, do they?
No.
No. So recruiting's probably not a strength of yours. But
Mhm.
but if you found somebody who was sick, could you refer them to your hospital?
Yeah.
Do you get paid on every patient you bring to the hospital?
No.
No, you don't do that. But every doctor does. Every staff administrator gets paid on every person that comes into the hospital. Do hospitals have to recruit? Yes. That's what's called advertising. So you realize you're in one of the biggest recruiting industries in the world, right?
Mm.
Not only for doctors, but for patients. Not only for talent, but for sick people. You may have a level 4 trauma center. You're going to get patients that are only specially designed to come to your facility. I just found out in Plano, we're one of 250 hospitals here in Plano that have EMCO or ECMO, which oxygenates the blood outside of the body. One of 250 hospitals. Boy, aren't we lucky if, God forbid, any of us get COVID, oxygenating the body.
Wow.
So here's why I don't want to say frustrated, but if you find a objection, why are we not studying the objection so it's no longer an objection? You've not looked at the hospital industry. You've not investigated where did she get her knowledge that makes perfect sense and allowed her to give you that long text that allowed her to describe why why you're not good enough for her time.
Mm.
Because you don't understand the investment she's putting in what she's doing, why it's of value, but to be able to hold the mirror up and go, hey, listen, quick question. Do hospitals recruit? I'm your friend. We're good friends. But you realize, have you ever seen an advertisement for my company on TV? Nope. Have you ever seen it in the newspaper? Nope. You ever seen an ad for your hospital? That's called recruiting. And the only reason you don't like recruiting is because you've never been rewarded for bringing somebody in the nursing industry. If you could bring a nurse into the nursing industry and get 2% of their income for the rest of their life, how many people might you to have a conversation with that might want to consider nursing?
Am I missing something?
Probably, but not.
Uh, um, I- somehow or another, I got lost here. What does this have to do with what that person wants?
I believe
Have you gotten to the point where you actually found out from her what she actually wants? Does she really want a job in trading or whatever it is that you do? Or does she want to do something completely different?
well, I do have an idea of what she wants. First of all,
Do you know for sure? Have you asked enough questions to find out? Somehow I'm sensing that you haven't. Maybe I'm wrong.
I haven't asked to the depth that I should have. I think that's where I'm at. I've asked. I know what she wants. Is she genuinely loves helping people? Like she doesn't make a lot of money doing what she does, and she told me that she wants to open up a business. Now, when I was getting in that conversation of business, we got cut off because I was going to ask her what kind of business and those kind of things. The wonderful thing is that she reached out to me to find out what I'm doing because she's been seeing what I've been doing. So in that regard, she definitely wants to get into investing because that is what she said. She's like, listen, I really want to get into investing. I really want to learn how I can make money work for me because I as much as I love helping people, I don't really want to work for the hospitals that I'm working for. So that aspect of it, I did get. Did I go deeper into that? That was that's for me to learn from because I did not.
Yeah, I think that's where the payoff is going to be if you ask enough questions to find out what what will work for or what won't, but you got to keep your eye on the target, which is to find out what they want. And only then can you decide whether what you have will satisfy what she wants. Sean would ask, I think, Sean, wouldn't you ask, oh, so you want to make more money, or so you're interested in what I do. Why are you interested in that?
Yeah, what result would you want it to produce for you?
Right.
And this is again where we get stuck into the script, we get stuck into our business model versus the person. You see my results. What pictures would you like your results to look like? Because that was a lot of texting to get to no.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke on the, like, we really didn't have a text exchange about much. It was just.
So here's how, so as you become more confident and as you get better at your questions, because listen, here's the reality that happens with most. This is going to be interesting. Right now, many of you are practicing, and nobody pays to see you practice. Ouch. We only pay for a performance. Nobody's going to go to the theater and watch you guys sit down and do a table read. Now, it may be neat to be a part of it, but they're not paying $100 a seat to watch you try to figure out your lines and practice and hit your marks and everything in the theater. They pay for the performance. Nobody's going to watch the orchestra play notes off tune and get yelled at by the conductor. They're not filling up the theater during practice. They're filling up the theater during performance. So where you're currently at, imagine, Leo, you go on vacation and you let me run your dance theater for 2 weeks. Now, they'll get personal development. They may not get dance, and the theater and your studio may turn into something different. But they ain't going to be taught dance like you taught dance, and they're going to get ticked off when you show up. But what the hell did you bring this knucklehead, this white guy in here? Are you kidding me? Right? Because I'd be practicing teaching. I wouldn't be performing teaching. You have to develop your craft. And the craft is that the reason that she had so many reasons she could say no is because she got a lot of information she could say no to.
Whereas if you ask her if a miracle could happen and you got everything that you wanted, how would that show up? What would that be like? And all of a sudden, the specifications for her future come out, and then you can decide whether you got something to help her with them, with those details or not. If a miracle could happen today, what would that be like for you?
Does that help, Leo?
It does.
Take a big breath.
Yeah. I love where I'm at right now. I'm resonating with, are you asking enough questions? Are you really finding out how this can help someone, not just, like you said, not just what the company can do, but what this can do for someone? That's where I'm at. And two, I love what Delia had just asked a question in the chat, which is, oftentimes we do get prospects, right? So right now it's the process of marketing, and you have prospects. You're sharing the business. It's about inviting to see the presentation. So
No, it's not. It's not. They can't see the presentation unless they have a dream. Otherwise, the presentation is just that. It's a presentation, and they don't like, and they can't be presented to. If I invite you to see the presentation, I don't know why you want to see it. You can't see what you need to see. You can only see the rejection. You can only see what I'm not doing. When you look at something and see everybody else succeeding, 18 late ways to make money, trading on Forex and blah, 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 and technology, and you see the platforms and somebody pops up a dumbass screen with the blips and the red nines and the lines and the pips and the this, that, and the other, how the heck am I supposed to translate that into success? Because the only reason I'm going to get started is because I saw somebody made $5,000 last week. And it's going to be about the money. And if it's about the money,
No bueno.
there's no retention. But if it's about the mission, I can't listen, Amway's one of the most toughest places to try to recruit somebody out of Amway. It's the only place they can spend $50 and make $40 and you couldn't pry them out with a crowbar. It's because it's the personal development.
It's also what their reticular activating system is attuned to. I went out a number of years back and bought a Lincoln Town Car. I don't know why I was enthused about that. Turned out that wasn't the best choice, but anyway. For months afterwards, everywhere I looked, I saw Lincoln Town Cars. I wasn't out looking for them, but boy, my reticular activating system was.
Yep.
So if you can tune into whatever your prospect's reticular activating system is attuned to, you got something to work with. What do they want? What are they focused on? They want more money. They want more time. They want to be able to spend time with their family. They want financial freedom. Whatever it is, you know, is there some kind of a spiritual thing they have with money? I don't know. But until you find out, you're going to go down all kinds of different paths and spend a lot of time, waste not only your time, but their time too.
Right.
You do them a favor if you find out that what you have will not fit them. And maybe recommend somebody else's, go somewhere else for their, then maybe they'll come around later on and decide that what you have is not so bad after all.
So I have a question for you, gents. Do you address all of this as you're inviting someone, like if I'm inviting my friend Bob, right? Am I gonna go ahead and of course have this conversation before I even invite to see a presentation?
You mean like, Bob, what do you want?
Yeah, I mean that's a question that obviously we don't ask people on a regular basis. So when we're inviting someone, I know our intention is to invite for them to be in front of a presentation.
Do I know what Bob does?
You have an idea of what Bob does.
Okay, but so what's the person that was so let's just say that was Sally, the nurse. Right, let's just say it was Sally, and I know Sally's going to nursing school. Sally, listen, I want to invite you to something, to take a look at something, but I need to see if you're okay with being able to help, finding something that would allow you to help people, allow me to help you help people, and to give people a little bit better today than they had yesterday. If I could show you something like that, would you be willing to take a look at, there might be something we could work together that we could serve more people in our community to give them a better future?
Yeah, that sounds like amazing.
Because that's what a nursing mindset looks like.
Yeah.
But she never had a three-way with somebody that's been able to take care of their family. She didn't have a three-way before she saw the presentation to hear about somebody who created an extra $100 to pay for their kids' medicine. This is why you have to know the stories of your company.
But you can also ask them, what is it about nursing that you really like? What draws you to nursing? How long have you been doing that? How long have you been interested in that? What got you interested in that from the very beginning? Who turned you on to nursing, caring for people? Find out where their compass is heading them. What's their North Star? What's the underlying value that they're trying to fulfill? Just by asking, just some incidental questions like that really start out having nothing to do with your product or your business, but it's all about them, finding out about them. And using that as a guideposts to where to take your conversation as you develop it with them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because it sounds like they know a lot more about your business than you know about their business.
Yeah.
And so you're a teacher and you went to school.
And then we don't get paid to teach.
At least I don't. I get paid to do two things: find
Really?
customers and develop leaders.
And maybe ask questions and learn more.
A little bit.
We get to be the students in this regard.
Yep. And Delia, these recordings, because I can't stream them live to YouTube now, but usually they're downloaded and back up here in the next couple of hours. These are all on my YouTube page, which I may be turning this into a membership site, but not right now. That's not a high priority for me. Does that help, Leo?
It does, Sean, very, very much so.
One thing you learned, one thing you liked.
Yes, I was just going to get into that. One thing I learned is to be okay with taking my time. Taking my time with someone that I really care about. I got really excited when she texted me opposed to me text her. And I was like, all right, cool, let me get you in front of the presentation. So for me, it's like, even when people are, when they're qualifying even themselves, I have to qualify them from me. So I have an idea of how I can help them and how I can bridge the gap between them not knowing or not feeling confident or not having an idea to being able to have this full confidence and getting started.
Yep.
That's what I learned. What I like is that, again, our community, I could ask these questions all day. I could definitely read a book. But one of the things that about reading a book is that, of course, it's very scripted and it's very, it's kind of tailored to it being just a script. So what I really love is that we can be able to help each other and always find a way to think newly and to vibe newly into something that may be different for us. So that's what I got. And I got that I'm not alone. So thank you, y'all.
Cool. Good to have you here, brother. Thanks for asking the question.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Bob. And yeah, thank you.
Philippe. Good morning, Philippe. It is Philippe, not Phil. Yeah, Philippe.
Philip.
I was going to say Philip. Damn it.
Hi, Sean. Yeah, it's my first time I got in this conversation, with you. Here's my friend Alex. He brought me here. So, yeah, that I have one problem, one habit.
Okay.
It's about financial, But, in my mindset, I think that you need to have, some cash to start something, to build something. Of course, you need in a small amount, big amount, and things like that. But my biggest problem is that I spend money on the things that I really don't need,
Okay.
and etc. And when you have a girlfriend, you want to take her here and there and here and there. And the biggest problem here is that you are practically wasting your time on work just to go and take someone out to buy things that you really don't need. And instead of that, you can, build something that will, help you to grow personally, financially. But instead of that, you're just throwing the money away.
Yes, I agree.
So, I really have, that big problem in my mind. I go to the store and I see things, and sometimes, I can, go out and say, I don't really need this, but most of the time I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this. I really don't know why I'm gonna buy this, but I'm gonna buy this.
So are you asking how might you be able to curb that appetite for purchasing the unnecessary things?
Yes,
Okay. So tell me how old you are.
I'm 18 years old.
Okay. At some point, can you remember a point to where somebody told you you weren't good enough?
Yes.
Okay. Can you remember what, because it might have been a handful of times, but can you remember one time in particular? Don't need to describe it to me, but can you remember one of the bigger times where it kind of sunk with you in time and space? That it's
Yes.
okay. How old were you when that happened?
17 years old, my father was, like really disappointed in me because, he was like, you need to study, you need to finish, you need to finish high school with a high grade so you can, go to the college and things like that.
Okay.
Because, he was in army and things like that. He know how the hard life is and things like that. And they are, how can I say, they are in struggle, with
Sure.
credits and things like that. And they don't want me to struggle in life.
Right. So they want better for you.
Yes.
And because you weren't doing a path that they thought was going to be a valuable path, you weren't good enough. And whatever you're doing is a waste of time.
Yes.
So,
I'm sorry, Sean. One biggest thing here is that, I started working when I was 16 years old,
yep.
and for these 2 years from now, I'm just working, trying to get some cash for myself, so I don't need, to rely on them all the time, and I can, go whenever I want and do things I want to do, with my cash, because I don't want them, to think like, all right, we don't have the cash to help you out, and they feel bad for it, and I feel bad for it, So yeah, that's why I wanted, to oversee this habit so I
Okay.
can build something for myself. And, because I don't see myself in like 9 to 5 work because, it's a model that you're doing, every day,
Right.
and it's a boring job.
It is. But here's the reality. If you can use it right now to catapult yourself to the next level, we need to do that. But the next level is going to require some cash, and you have a tendency to blow the cash on things that take care of you right now. So what's here's, let's see if you can follow this with the conversation. Right now, what motivates you is the push for the adrenaline of going, I was able to get that. I got it, but then all of a sudden you realize you don't need it. What would serve you better, what might serve you going forward, is being able to have something to pull you.
All right.
To pull you past that impulse purchase. So let's just say this is what, April, end of May. How much money would you like to put in the bank? How much money would, if you knew, based upon what you currently have as an income, what would be, you know what, I absolutely did it. In the next 30 days, what would you like to have in the bank? And I don't care if it's $100.
It is. To be honest, it is.
Okay. So if you could have $100 in the bank, here's the question. If you had the $100 in the bank at the end of the month, in 30 days from now, how would you feel?
I would feel a lot better, to be honest. I did something that I was, trying to do for the last 2 years, but, my brain just don't want to let me do it,
I get it. So let's see if we can't work on that, because this isn't a 5-year goal. This is a 30-day goal. So you got $100. How would you feel if you didn't have it?
I would feel disappointed in myself because, I'm struggling with the, kind of small problem because it's
Yep.
only in head. You can oversee that, but for some reason, it's really hard for me.
What do you have on you? What do you have on you cash right now?
Right now, I do have around 200.
Okay. So if you took 100 of that and put it away, that would probably hurt your current living situation. Yes?
No, because in this situation, I really don't need the cash, I'm sitting.
Okay. So then where could you go put that 100 so that in 30 days from now, you still have it?
Yes. But there
No,
goes, but there goes after these 30 days, that's gonna go in, normal life and things like that. You can go outside like you normally
but listen
do.
to me, Philippe,
I'm sorry.
Philip, listen.
Yes.
You're
All right.
only looking for a 30-day goal then, because you could put the money away right now. But you're saying, you just said to me, well, then, yeah, but life shows back up. This is a lifetime decision, not a lunchtime decision. Are you willing to make a lifetime decision?
Yes, I am.
Now, what'd you say? You were 18?
Yes.
Okay. So you've already had experiences that you couldn't buy, but you paid for. And you've already got pain. Here's the reality. The pain, until the pain is big enough, you won't change. You can talk about it. You can hang around people like Alex, who's smart and is a good example. And you're like, well, why can't I be more like him? Why can't I be more like this? Well, you got to be more like Philippe or Philip. You got to be more like Philip. So do you journal?
I usually, look at somewhere else, and yeah, I'm trying to be, like them, because if there's some way better than me, I'm gonna try, to try to learn from them, and but it's kind of copying of them, but I want to do it in my way.
I get it. So that's why I'm trying to have you do Philip way, not my way. Because my way would be to take the 200 from you, and you'd have to go make more money today so that you understand what it's like to be broke. Have you been homeless yet?
No.
Okay. Do you want to be?
No.
Then I'd change your ways, because you will be homeless. And it could be once you make $1 million. But you will lose it all until listen, the reason that millionaires are millionaires is because making the first million's easy. Keeping it, the second million's the tough one.
All right.
So until you have enough pain, because here's the good news. You're brilliant. You're smart. I listen to you speak. That's what I love about Europeans. That's what I love about the Eastern Europeans. There's just a level of education and awareness that you guys have that doesn't exist in most places in the world. So you're smart, Philip. You're very smart for an 18-year-old.
Thank you very much, Sean.
You got a world of experience. But here's the thing. Your experience, as I listen, this is your first time on the call. Three quick questions. Do I have your permission to help?
Yes.
Permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable?
Yes.
Permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
Yes.
We're going to have a conversation. I'm 54, you're 18, 19, going on 19, and you're going to try to bring me down to your level, and you're going to beat me with your experience.
All right, I understand that.
Yeah, I'm not going to have that conversation, because you said, well, I have 200, I could put 100 away, but then now 30 days from now, life is going to go and I'm going to spend it again. Okay, then you go do that. You're not yet ready to follow through on the goals that you've already set for yourself. And you've got to make that decision. And where that decision is going to be made is inside your head, because it's okay for you to sacrifice now for your future success. But society and whatever it is, got to keep up with the Joneses kind of mentality, says, well, I need this, or I need that over there. And then you get in, it's like, I really didn't need that. I like it, but I really didn't need it. So I would encourage you to journal what it is you need. What do you want in the bank at the end of 30 days? What do you want in the bank at the end of 60 days? Are you in the business with Alex?
We were working together at one company that are working with American truckers and things like that with their insurance. Yeah. And, we had a really, really bad COO. He is not, someone who is really
right
into the job, and he does not respect all of us.
So is there something Alex seems like he's got both oars in the water and he's rowing kind of strong. Is there something you guys can work on together? Because listen, if I had Alex in my corner when I was 18 and 19 and 20, my world probably look a little bit different now. So I'd figure out how to have a conversation. I'd keep showing up on these calls, asking great questions, and tell me tomorrow if you're closer to your goal or farther away.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Glad to have you here.
Thank you very much, Sean.
You bet, man. Hey, listen, thanks for
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur. I don't know if anybody's thanked you, and I know probably based upon your conversations, it's probably not a lot of gratitude coming from your dad, right? Military, Serbian military, forget it. I mean, that's like, I can't think of a tougher army that exists out there. Maybe the Israeli army, but to be a kid of a military personnel, you've got it. It's you've been wrung out, you've been beat up and put out to the field a couple of times wet. So just thanks for being here. Thanks for having the courage to show up and ask the question.
Sean, one thing I want to tell you. So, you're the first person away from Serbia that tells me this and understand how it's like, to have a dad that is a military soldier for the most of his life and he knows the struggle. So thank you very much for this.
Yeah. And again, that's just, listen, I because I've been blessed to have to deal with people from all around the world, but U.S. Army, there's a different level of being a kid of a U.S. Army versus Canadian versus French but when you get into Serbia, Israeli, any of the Baltics, there's just, it's a different, for you to be even alive, I say this tongue in cheek. Yeah, you've had a much rougher life than most people will ever see, but you've also learned honor and respect that most people will never get either. So I appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Okay. RBP, what do you hear, girl? Girl, what you doing? Great, girl.
First of all, I'm like, who the heck was I at 18?
Yeah, I know.
Golly.
These kids, they sound like they're in
these-
their 30s.
I'm sitting here going, how does an 18-year-old even know what a COO is? Holy crap. But then I also am like, God, I had a cushy life if I wasn't forced to learn more at 18, like these two young guys have had to learn. Alex put it in the chat, a tough life is a good lesson. And golly, I'm just over here kind of going, I'm in shock. And then I'm over here going, Rhonda, get yourself together. You're freaking 45 years old and these boys are so much better than you are. I'm like, psh, 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 come on, woman. Now you said something earlier that keyed me in on why I'm having a lot of success right now. And the definition of success that I'm talking about right now is the results are a lot of people are attracted to me and are wanting to be, they want to join with me. And I thought, I'm sitting here listening to all this from Leo to Philip to Alex to everybody that's participating in the chat and all. And you said something earlier, and I wrote this down and I put some dollar signs out beside it just so it would catch my attention when I went back and looked at my notes. And I wrote this down. I partnered with Sean. So I sat on this phone call for 6 months, intimidated to call Sean. And I'm not an intimidated kind of personality. Intimidated to call Sean, even though I had been with him in person twice before, intimidated to call him. But I finally just threw my hands up in the air and said, if I'm ever going to do anything different, I've got to get a hold of this man. So I wrote down, I partnered with Sean so I could develop my craft and get results at the same time. Because I was so sucky and so crappy at dealing with people, even though I'm this social butterfly and I walk into a room and everybody comes and talks to me. I was still so self-centered, so self-engulfed, so addicted to the approval of when they did walk up to me, if I was going to say the right thing to keep them around or whatever. I was so crappy that in order for me to have some success, I had to partner with someone that I could leverage, was a million times better than what I dreamed of, but where I wanted to get, and be able to have some success and some cash rolling in while I was learning. Because if I didn't partner with Sean, I would be asking a lot of the questions you guys are asking and struggling through, walking through wet cement, because the cement was starting to dry around my feet. What was about to happen is I would have had lived 45 years, but I would have died 20 or 25 years ago. And the cement was about to dry and solidify that life. And I would have ended up in a midlife crisis with no goals achieved that would have made me feel as if my purpose inside my heart had been achieved, or at least tried in my best effort to achieve. So when you said that earlier, Sean, I thought, and that is why inside me, my spirit knew, latch a hold of this guy. And when I latched a hold of Sean, y'all, I didn't even know he had a company. I just thought I was going to be like his glorified secretary and schedule his meeting and his plane tickets. And I was like, I don't care what I have to do. Like, I'll take your dry cleaning to the dry cleaners. I'll clean your house. I'll do whatever I got to do. Just let me work with you. Because I knew I had to have someone to help me get success. I had to leverage them until I was worthy of the success that comes along with being developed and loving others without me getting in their way and without me getting in my own way. Because you see, I was so concerned with how I appeared to people and if they were going to like me, that I never concerned myself with if I loved myself. And there's that golden rule, whether you read the same book I do or not, there's that golden rule that exists, that you should treat others the way you want to be treated. But when you don't treat yourself well, because you don't see your own value and you don't invest in yourself enough, then guess what? You treat others the way you treat yourself, like crap. And it was until I had someone I could leverage that loved people without question and at the drop of a hat, that would keep people coming around to hear me, I would have never had the changes, the breakthroughs, and the success I'm having now. I agree with Alex earlier. I'm working harder now. I probably have a small butt print in my chair. My butt's smaller now. So we're going to say a small butt print in my chair. But I got a good rut happening because I rarely leave this chair, because the past 4 weeks, I am so swamped in getting to love more people. It's unbelievable. But had I not partnered with Sean until my craft had improved, until my love had improved, until my addiction to approval had gone way down, I would still be sitting in that drying cement. And when you said that, I wrote it down and I thought, holy crap, that's it. And thank God you saw it inside of me. And you decided, okay, this is a weird bird here. I gotta sit with this one for a little bit. Because it was then that I was able to have some of these walls break down. And now I see myself in a total different light. And if you can hear one thing from these conversations, developing your craft is huge. And oftentimes you're too scared to develop your craft or ask the big questions because you're highly addicted to the approval and the answers that they're about to give. I don't attach myself to their answers. I attach myself to their heart, and I love them no matter the answers they give me. And I fall in love with them in like 0.2 seconds. and I get excited as to where this love is going to resonate in my body and what part of my body is going to feel more joy than it has felt and more relief than it has felt in the last few hours because of the joy their love is about to bring me. Just a higher level of joy. So throw me under the bus at times, Sean, but at times I'm over here and this little brain, this little East Texas brain is kicking. And today it's kicking. And I'm excited about that. I love the questions y'all are asking. These young men, these 18-year-olds, y'all are mind blowing. And if I could tell you one thing as a mama, quit chasing so many skirts and worry about getting your head right and your heart right. And the right skirt will eventually find you.
Rhonda, I don't. He does. Just for the record. I don't. He does. He does. I don't. Just for the record.
Alex had to confess. Alex had to fess up to a mama real quick, didn't he?
Just for the record. He does. I don't. But it's all okay.
But I'm sending, I'm sending everybody some love. I want those young people to know that y'all got people cheering you on, and anybody on this call, if we can help any of y'all, reach out to us and let us know. So yeah, my brain's over here at a whole nother perspective. So thanks for asking, Sean.
And there you go, folks. Another 2 hours of conversation. We'll get to do this again tomorrow. I do appreciate y'all showing up and asking the questions. I'm honored that I get to share with you. And again, these are on YouTube, youtube.com/mentor, the number 2 mentor. Yeah, and you're more than welcome to watch the replays. So I don't know what else I can do to help you, but there you go. I'll give you all I got. All I got's all I got. So I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. See y'all tomorrow. Y'all send some love to each other.
Have a beautiful day, beautiful people.
I love y'all.
Love you, my Misfit family. Everyone
Bye,
have a
guys.
blessed, beautiful day.
Love you guys. Have an amazing day.
Love y'all.
Love y'all. Have a beautiful day.
Mm.